Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are embarking on a massive journey through the 2026 cloud computing landscape. We're going to take this huge, honestly sometimes intimidating topic and break it right down. We'll start by zooming all the way out to look at the massive macroeconomic forces shaping our world right now. And then we're going to zoom all the way down into the hidden microscopic technical gears that actually make it all run. So get ready, because the sheer scale of what we're about to explore is literally mind-blowing.
$2.39 trillion. Let that sink in for a second. That is the projected value of the global cloud market by the year 2030. It's almost hard to even wrap your head around, right? To put that into perspective for you, in just the fourth quarter of 2025 alone, infrastructure spend hit nearly $99 billion. That's a 25% jump year over year. This is not just some IT budget line item anymore. It is absolutely the foundation of the modern global digital economy. Honestly, if you aren't paying close attention to the cloud right now, you're missing out on the biggest economic shift of our generation.
So what exactly is pouring rocket fuel on this explosive growth? Two words: artificial intelligence. Well, specifically, generative AI. Get this, cloud spend associated specifically with AI workloads has skyrocketed by more than 150% year over year. Think about it. AI models require massive computational power, immense data pipelines, and infrastructure that can scale up in a heartbeat. AI is the core engine that's pushing the cloud from just being a digital filing cabinet where you store data into this incredibly dynamic engine of cognitive automation and real-time analytics.
Okay, here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the massive cloud economy. Second, the big three giants. Third, decoding the cloud using our favorite pizza analogy. Fourth, we'll peek under the IaaS hood. And fifth, choosing your cloud strategy. Let's dive in.
Section 1. The massive cloud economy and its unprecedented scale.
So, in 2025, the cloud computing market pulled in over $752 billion in revenue. But how does that actually break down? Well, software as a service, or SaaS, your ready-to-use apps like Google Workspace or Salesforce, that still dominates, making up about 55% of total revenue. But what is super exciting is infrastructure as a service, or IaaS. It is by far the fastest growing segment, expanding by an astounding 53%. Geographically speaking, North America still holds the crown, bringing in about 39% of global revenue. But you definitely want to keep your eyes on the Asia-Pacific region. It's the fastest growing market in the world right now, and that's being driven heavily by AI adoption and huge data center expansions.
All right, Section 2, the big three giants, or what's basically a cloud oligopoly. What's really wild to think about is the absolute dominance of just three companies. Amazon Web Services, AWS, is sitting comfortably on the throne with a whopping 30% of the market. They had that huge first-mover advantage way back in 2006, and honestly, they just haven't let go. Right behind them is Microsoft Azure at 20%, doing a great job leveraging their deep enterprise relationships and hybrid cloud strengths. And then you've got Google Cloud Platform sitting at 13%, but they're growing incredibly fast by playing right to their strengths in AI, machine learning, and data analytics. Collectively, these three tech titans command up to 71% of the public cloud infrastructure market. It's a true oligopoly, no doubt about it.
Moving on to Section 3, decoding the cloud. And yes, we're bringing in the pizza analogy. So, we all know the shared responsibility model conceptually, but applying the classic pizza analogy perfectly visualizes the trade-offs we make in architectural complexity. Imagine you really want a pizza. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS, is kind of like renting a professional kitchen. The provider gives you the oven and the countertops. That's your servers and storage, but you've got to bring the ingredients, make the dough, and cook the whole thing yourself. You have maximum control over the recipe, but it takes maximum effort. Platform as a service, PaaS, is more like buying a ready-made pizza base at the store. The oven is preheated, the dough is already rolled out, you're just adding your unique toppings, which are your applications and data. Finally, SaaS is literally just ordering pizza delivery. You aren't cooking at all, the provider handles the kitchen, the baking, the delivery. You just eat it. The core takeaway here? As you move from IaaS to SaaS, you are trading control for pure convenience.
Okay, Section 4. Under the IaaS hood, the technical depths.
Think of renting IaaS kind of like an iceberg. What you see sitting above the water are just the virtual resources, your servers, your memory, your storage, all there for you on a pay-per-use basis. But down beneath the surface, the provider is constantly managing this massive, hidden ecosystem. We're talking about the cloud management layer and the hypervisors. Down in the depths, they're handling complex server consolidation, ensuring high availability, managing geographic restrictions to keep data physically close to users, and navigating actual physical hardware failures. And they're doing all of this without you, the user, ever noticing a single hiccup.
Now, the foundational building block of this entire underwater ecosystem is the virtual machine, or VM. A VM is essentially a software-based computer deployed right inside the provider's massive data center. It gives you the ability to run and control an entire virtual system just as if the actual metal box was sitting right there on your desk. This is the exact magic that completely shifted the tech industry from massive capital expenditures, where you had to buy expensive physical hardware up front, over to operating expenses, where you literally just rent exactly what you need, when you need it.
But here's the catch. Managing millions of these virtual machines is a constant, super delicate balancing act for the provider. They are obsessively tracking resource usage to avoid two major extremes. On one end, you have what's called a hotspot. This happens when a physical machine just doesn't have enough resources to meet the performance demands of the VMs running on it. Things slow to a crawl and customers get angry. On the other extreme, you have a cold spot. This is when resources are over-provisioned and wasted. Basically, servers are running empty, just burning electricity and burning money. So the ultimate goal? Perfect load balancing.
So how exactly does a cloud provider fix a hotspot without just shutting down your server and completely ruining your business day? Well, they use a fascinating computer science process called VM live migration. If a physical server gets too hot, the hypervisor can literally suspend your virtual machine's execution right mid-calculation. It then copies the processor and memory state over the network to a completely different physical machine and just resumes execution over there. And with modern live migration techniques like pre-copying or post-copying the state, this massive data transfer happens with such minimal downtime that your end-user application doesn't even realize it just jumped across the entire data center. It's brilliant.
Finally, Section 5. Choosing your cloud strategy, actionable steps.
Look, before we talk strategy, we really have to acknowledge the reality of modern business. The average enterprise today is using an astonishing 1,295 cloud services. That's spread across marketing, HR, finance, dev teams, you name it. And 89% of businesses are now adopting a multi-cloud strategy. That means they aren't just an AWS shop or just an Azure shop anymore. They're actively using a mix of different providers. Sure, this prevents vendor lock-in and boosts resilience, but it also creates an immense amount of architectural complexity. You absolutely cannot just wing this stuff. You need a solid strategy.
To help navigate all this complexity, the cloud experts over at TechRevel outline a great 7-step methodology. Step 1. Define your core business priorities. Are you optimizing for cost, pure performance, or global reach? Step 2 is critical. Match your specific workloads to the actual strengths of the provider. If you have heavy compute-intensive tasks, maybe lean towards AWS. If you need super tight enterprise software integration, definitely look at Azure. And if it's heavy AI and data analytics, Google Cloud might be your best bet. Step 3, calculate your total cost of ownership over a 3 to 5 year horizon. Remember to factor in data movement and personnel, not just your monthly server rent. And step 4, rigorously lock down your security, compliance, and data residency requirements from day 1.
Building right on top of those foundations, we get to step 5, plan for portability. You want to embrace containerization. Think tools like Kubernetes, so your applications can actually move between different clouds if you ever need them to. Step 6, ensure operational readiness by defining really strict service-level agreements or SLAs for your support. And finally, step 7, never go all in blindly. Pilot your workloads first, measure the true costs and performance KPIs, and iterate before you do a massive full-scale implementation. This is exactly how you conquer cloud complexity.
So what's the big takeaway here? The cloud is simply no longer just a digital storage unit. It is the core cognitive engine of the future, driven heavily by AI and governed by a handful of massive tech titans. As we approach 2026 and look even further beyond, the infrastructure choices you make today will absolutely dictate your capacity to innovate tomorrow. I want you to look really closely at your own digital footprint. In an AI-first world, are you proactively building your cloud strategy, or is your legacy cloud infrastructure dictating your limits and building you? Give that some thought. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Go analyze your architecture, and I will see you on the next explainer.